The northeast of England has many reminders of the government's record since the coronavirus pandemic began, the scandals and the successes that voters might judge them on. Like Barnard Castle, for example, Boris Johnson's former top advisor, Dominic Cummings, infamously broke lockdown to come here on a trip he refused to apologise for. But it's also home to a big medicines facility, part of the government's highly effective vaccination programme. The northeast is a brick in the so-called Red Wall, the belt of former industrial constituencies that until recently historically voted for the Labour Party. In 2019, many switched to the Conservatives, helping serve Boris Johnson a landslide victory. Hartlepool didn't, but it might on Thursday. Amidst all England's council and mayoral elections, Hartlepool alone has a by-election for a Member of Parliament.
What's anyone's guess at the minute as to where it might go?
Three-time Hartlepool Mayor Stuart Drummond knows the town as well as anyone. He cautions against only seeing the by-election as a referendum on how the Conservative government's handled COVID-19.
I think what people want more than anything is someone who's going to represent the town, represent them, and really talk the town up, fight down at Westminster for the good of the town. You know, there's inequalities in health, in the economy, poverty, you name it.
Local issues loom large here. Cuts during the last decade have stripped the hospital of its accident and emergency unit. Other services have disappeared too. Many observers say it's this feeling of being left behind that is the reason why Brexit was so popular in the post-industrial north. The Labour Party now struggles to convince voters here that it's not just the voice of the Remainer metropolitan south. A generational shift in voting has swept through other northern communities. Is it Hartlepool's turn to fall to the Tories?
For Labour to vanish completely would be just unthinkable. I can't see it happening.
I suspect Conservatives will win here because that's how the general picture seems to be going across the country, especially looking at the last elections.
I'm still unsure. We've got that much stuff being sent through the post. I'm a little bamboozled by all of the different candidates that's going, to be fair.
Also a bit bamboozled is Tom Brooks. The law and government professor says COVID-19 has made it hard to predict where many of the country's myriad local elections are going.
I do think Hartlepool will be likely to stay Labour in the end, but I think it is difficult because the normal rules that political analysts would have as to how things will turn out, looking at campaigning, looking at how effective people have been out on the stump, reactions to messages on those in the street. When it's hard to find people on the street, you can't really get too close.
Barnard Castle's walls started crumbling in the 1500s. Labour will be hoping its own period of decline is shorter and that its political walls can be rebuilt. Rory, Challands, Al Jazeera, the northeast of England.